Hi, welcome to session 3 of Communication Psychology course with topic intrapersonal and interpersonal communication. As information before in session 2, the Communication Psychology course will be a bilingual course between Bahasa and English. Hopefully we can train not only our communication skills but also our English. So we will start with a PowerPoint explanation in English, but don't worry for those who don't understand, you can immediately ask it during the discussion at Bella Forum later. So please open the slide 2. We have 3 objectives in this third session. First, participants are able to explain accompanied by concrete examples of the concept of intrapersonal and interpersonal communication systems. Participations are able to explain along with example of intrapersonal and interpersonal communication patterns. And the third, participants are able to identify changes in behavior based on change in intrapersonal and interpersonal communication patterns. And the topic of discussion that will be our foothold today is first, concept of intrapersonal and interpersonal communication systems. Second, intrapersonal and interpersonal communication patterns. And the last one, identification of behavior changes based on change in intrapersonal and interpersonal communication patterns. So, let's start our lecture for today. Cheers! Please open slide 3 until 5 for this recording. So, at the slide 3, do you still remember about Harold Laswell early communication theory? Harold was said that communication is a message conveyed to the communicant or receiver from the communicator or source through certain channels, either directly or indirectly, with the intention of having an impact or effect on the communicant according to what the communicator wants. Well, to make it more interactive, on slide 3, please fill the box with 5 elements of communication in Laswell's model. Okay? So at slide 4, you can see that there is a communication of, a process of communication. In simple terms, you can look at the image in slide 5. Well, if so, please try to identify what elements are involved in the communication process. Write your opinion in that section of the box. So when you see the image, please write down on the communication process what the element built this process. Please write down at the box at slide 5. Please proceed. Okay, now please open the slide 6. By the way, you should always remember that the communication process, because it forms the basis for all communication concept. So today we will talk about 2 communication concept, and let's start with the first one, which is intrapersonal communication. Okay, as you can see at PPT, conceptually, intrapersonal communication is how we communicate with ourselves. Simply put, talk to yourself. In the process of talking to ourselves, there will be various mental range or process that accompany it, namely thought, feelings, and perspective on oneself, and simplify it contents of our mental process. Please proceed to slide 7. As we know, that intrapersonal communication, that we talk with ourselves. So what the form of intrapersonal, or what the example of intrapersonal communication? First, contemplating, or we say, or we known as merenung, and talking alone, read an article loudly. Some of us, when he or she reads something, they will read loudly, yeah, or even shoutly, like that. So based on the theory of communication, it's a kind of intrapersonal communication. And also writing, and also making gestures while thinking. And I think when I record this topic, I'm also speak with myself on this form. I do the interpersonal communication, just like making gestures while I'm talking with you with this recording. Okay, so we will proceed to slide 8. Wait a minute. On this slide, we can talk about the system of communication interpersonal. Then the question is, how the system can the interpersonal communication process occur? In simple terms, the intrapersonal communication systems includes several things, namely receiving, processing, storing, and recalling. I guess you learned this concept in your first semester, right? I think at general psychology. Correct me if I'm wrong, yeah. But it's okay. We will recall the material that you have studied a few years ago. Well, when we talk about mental process, there will be four accompanying components, namely sensation, perception, memory, and thinking. So let's go back to discuss one by one. We start with the first one, called sensation. What is sensation? Do you still remember about what is sensation? Okay, sensation is a process of sensing or capturing stimuli, right? Human sense such as sight, hearing, kinesthetic, touch, temperature, taste, smell, etc. And every human being will experience different sensation, right? Why? Due to the capacity of the sense of organs, difference in experience, difference in the culture environment, the strength or absence of the stimuli. This difference will have an impact on subsequent mental process, such as decision making. So each of us have a different sensation. Perhaps I can feel some when we touch some hot coffee. Maybe I can say, oh, this is not a hot coffee, but when you touch it, you will feel, oh no, this is a hot one. So that's the difference between the sensation. Okay, the second component of mental process is perception. Perception is the process of interpreting stimuli of sensation. In simple terms, the process of interpreting. So we identify what is the sensation, what the sensation is. Sorry, I tried to correct my grammar, yeah. So we define, for example, when we touch some coffee, we interpreting with, oh, that is hot coffee. The hot coffee, it's our perception, it's our divining, it's our interpretation, right? This is called perception. And after that, we go through the third one. The third component is memory. Memory is a save and recall information. Memory has three processes. First, recording or called encoding, storage or menyimpan, and then retrieval. Two memory process at the beginning, which are recording and storage, we cannot aware about this. Okay, we don't have awareness of recording or storage information because our brain will process it without our awareness. Jadi tanpa kesadarannya kita, terjadi secara tidak sadar, otak kita akan mengkodekan dan akan menyimpan informasi tersebut. But the third concept, we can consciously do it. The retrieval, we recall it. Okay, so at the memory theories, there will be three ways to retrieval some information. First, recall. Second, reconnection. Third, relearning. And fourth, redisintegration. For example, we reconstruct the entire past from one small memory into one big picture. Jadi ini membahas tentang retrieval. Retrieval itu kita merecall kembali, kita mengingat kembali informasi-informasi yang pernah kita pelajari ya. Akan ada 3 jalan, akan ada 3 cara, yaitu recall, kita langsung mengingat apa yang sudah kita pelajari. Recognition itu kita mencoba mengenali berdasarkan stimulus-stimulus. Relearning, misalnya dulu kita belajar tentang sinkostan gitu ya. Tapi karena sudah seiring berjalannya waktu kan kita udah nggak pelajari lagi tentang sinkostan. Jadi kita belajar kembali tentang sinkostan. Kemudian yang keempat adalah redisintegration. Jadi kan biasanya kita akan mengingat sesuatu tapi hanya pecahan-pecahan kecilnya saja. Hanya tanda-tanda kecilnya saja gitu kan. Misalnya ketika kita mengenang seseorang gitu ya. Kita hanya mengingat lagu mungkin atau dari bau gitu kan, hanya dari sesimpel itu saja baru kita akan merekonstruksi di otak kita, ternyata ini lagu ini terkait dengan orang itu toh. Nah, kita akan membentuk pemahamannya di situ. And the fourth is think a process and manipulate information. It representational or symbolic process. For example, the symbolic process is symbol, visual, graphic that are carried out to understand reality in order to make decisions, problem solving, or making some solution. Jadi berpikir ini adalah suatu proses di dalam otak kita. Kita akan merepresentasi, kita akan memproses simbol-simbol kayak misalnya penglihatan kita, grafik, simbol dan lainnya. Kita akan memaknai simbol-simbol tersebut hingga pada akhirnya kita akan menggunakan simbol-simbol tersebut untuk proses pembuatan keputusan, pemecahan masalah, merancang solusi dan sebagainya. Itu proses berpikir. To sharpen the topic about intrapersonal communication, please do activity 3.1. As you can see, the activity 3.1, 3 refer to our third session and 1 refer to the first activity on this session. So, our activity is based on the concept of the communication process. Please map the elements of intrapersonal communication, then complete the table. As you can see on the table, there will be 5 aspects: sender, channel, message, receiver, and feedback. As you know that this 5 aspect is talk about communication process. So you can complete it with, for example, what is sender? Yeah, what is sender? So type your answer at the box of apa itu, and the description, what is sender in, or who is sender in intrapersonal communication. Please write down on the table of deskripsi, and please do to the rest of the aspect. Okay, Okay, while you do the activity, we can continue first to the slide 10. This is some additional information for intrapersonal communication concept. So, an individual becomes both the sender and the recipient of message, providing feedback for him or herself in a continuous mental process. Before, we have already talked about the four components, right, that we have learned. And also, it will involve the affection. Okay? So, before we continue to interpersonal communication, do you have any questions? No? Okay, if no, we will continue to the concept of interpersonal communication. Cheer up guys, still learning, tetap semangat biarpun kita pakai bahasa Inggris. Semangat!